Alright, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Real Madrid Hub again. I'm your host, Dr. JOTA. Today, I'm gonna break down the whole interview I did to Jose Felix Diaz, talking about the most interesting, the hottest topics right now for Real Madrid, considering Endrick is a hot topic, and Haaland is a hot topic as well, and Jude Bellingham as well. So, but before we get started with that, I'm gonna give you a quick update on the game today, because Carlo Ancelotti, during the press conference last night, he said something regarding to the possibility for Vinicius to start all over from the bench, okay? So he might not be featured in the starting 11 tonight. So for all those of you who are just waiting for the game to see Vinicius Jr., he might not be there. And the reason for that is because he's the only player who hasn't been replaced, who hasn't been on the bench since the beginning. He's been playing over and over and over again, back-to-back games, and of course now Carlo Ancelotti is considering to give him some rest, man. I mean, Vinicius Jr. is a human being, and he also needs a break, right, every once in a while. And although he's young enough to carry everything up, the thing is, I mean, it is better if we dosify our best player, right, than just getting burned or something like that. So yeah, Carlo Ancelotti is not sure about that, but Vinicius Jr. might start from the bench tonight, okay? So that is one of the most important updates I have for you guys. And then, I mean, there are more stuff, but I prefer to share with you what Jose Felix told me, what Jose Felix just told me during the interview. I mean, I highlighted a bunch of things here in my Twitter account, just in case you are not following me yet, guys. Just make sure to find me on Twitter, right, JOTA Real Madrid, and I mean, you will see all the news that I retweet, or even like in this case, I highlight the most important sentences or the most important news about what Jose Felix Diaz or whoever told me during interviews, okay? So yeah, the first thing I have for you all guys, it's about the information David Ornstein released yesterday regarding to the Dutch player Gakpo, who, according to him, might be in the radar of Real Madrid, right? So let me tell you something. I asked about that to Jose Felix Diaz, and he said no, that's not true. I mean, he didn't say it like literally. It's not true. He said, it's quite hard to me imagine the player that coming to Madrid, but for a very simple reason. And I don't even know, I mean, we all agree with that. David Ornstein, I don't know, I mean, the guy is a very well-reputed journalist, right? He's a very well journalist, very well known in UK, very prestigious journalist. So the information that he got is 100% legit, right? But I don't know who told him this, because it doesn't make any sense. I mean, Gakpo is a great player, but the problem is, the little problem is, Gakpo plays in the same position than Vinicius Jr. And on top of that, he's the same age, same features than the Brazilian player. So there's no point in signing another replica of Vinicius Jr. I mean, there's no point, right? So if you have a player like Vinicius Jr. playing from the left, Rodrigo plays originally from the left, although he's playing in different positions, right? Hazard is the same. Why in the hell are you going to sign to a player like Gakpo, who is pretty much the same thing? I don't think so, okay? So Jose Felix Diaz, don't see it. I don't see it either. So if y'all are thinking about Gakpo, man, just you can forget about that, because to me, it's no point, and of course it's not gonna happen. But who knows? In soccer, I mean, in football, everything can happen, okay? So now let's move on and let's talk about Endrick, Haaland, and Bellingham, okay? So as far as the Brazilian, the rising star, Endrick, let me tell you something. Jose Felix Diaz said, and very firmly, okay, he claimed actually, yes, Real Madrid is very interested in the player, number one. Number two, if the player continues evolving this way, Real Madrid at some point will go ahead and will send people, will send from the scouting department to sign, to talk to the agent of Endrick and try to sign him for sure. And he said that, like, I mean, loud and clear. Real Madrid will send people to sign Endrick if he continues to evolve in this way, okay? So that is the most important for us, and that's great news as well, because Endrick is a player that we've been watching for a while. We know the player, we know he's a very big talent, right? He's a rising star, he's a rising and promising player, and of course in the future he can be great. But before to do anything, before to do any move or something, we have to make sure the player keeps the quality, keeps the skill set, and keeps everything, right? His essence in the professional football, right? Because right now he has to play against professionals, right? I mean, he's been walking over all the previous rivals, but just because these rivals were kids in his age, right? And way worse, I mean, not way worse, he's way better than the other ones, right? I don't want to be really disrespectful with the other kids, but I mean, his physique, right? It's stronger, it's more powerful, it's faster, it's everything. And he walks over everybody in his age, right? But the problem is, when you come across the professionals, the story is going to change, right? And you might not see the same player playing against professionals versus playing against kids, right? So that is what happens when a lot of people come up to me and say, hey, why Real Madrid is not pulling out all these youngsters from the academy and all the stuff to put them in the first team and stuff? And I tell them the same. I mean, it is not the same when you have to play against kids in your age than when you have to play against professionals, top elite rivals. For example, if you see the signing of Camavinga or Tchouaméni, these guys were already playing in the top level, right, in France. They were playing for the national team in the case of Tchouaméni, and Camavinga was playing in Rennes, which is the first league, the first division in the French league, right? So he was playing at the top level. And when Real Madrid sees that, it's like, man, there's no point in pulling out another youngster that has been playing against kids, right? Then when you have a very young player, promising player, playing already against big rivals. I mean, against the big boys. I mean, it's a completely different story, right? So with Endrick, it's the same. I think that he has the skill set enough to outperform, outstand everybody. But we have to make sure before to pay the money that he also released, he might cost. It's about 60 to 70 million. 60 to 70 million euros, right? It's almost double than the price we paid for Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo. So it's a lot of money. So if you have to pay such amount of money, you gotta make sure you are going to pay for a player that is really worth. Otherwise, you're screwed. I mean, there's no point. So let's see what happens. Let's wait a little bit more. But to me, according to Jose Felix Diaz, yeah, Real Madrid, of course, for sure, it's going to try to sign Endrick, sending people, at any time soon. We don't know, we're not sure yet, but anytime soon. Next, Haaland. What is going to happen? I asked to Jose Felix Diaz about Erling Haaland and his release clause. He's allegedly his release clause, right, to play for Real Madrid. And he said, look, what I've been told is, and I knew Mino Raiola very well, what I've been told is the player, whether it's a release clause or just a verbal commitment or agreement with Manchester City, he has something in order for him to say, hey, I just want to get out and I want to play for Real Madrid now. So let's sit down on the table because I want out. So he has something, whether a word given by Manchester City or agreement or release clause or whatever you want to call it. And Jose Felix Diaz repeated a couple times. Mino Raiola used to do the same with every single football player, with every single one. So it's not an exception, right? It's not an exception. So we have to know that the player has something, has the key to get out of Manchester City at any time he wants. Well, not any time, but maybe within 2 years or something. And then he has the key to play for Real Madrid. So it's up to him, right? Everything relies on the Norwegian player. So to me, that's great. because I think that the player at some point want to play for Real Madrid, but we will have to wait again. Okay, so good news again regarding to Erling Haaland, and in my opinion, he might end playing for Real Madrid at some point, but you never know. Okay, so now the last one is as far as Jude Bellingham. I didn't highlight anything about Bellingham, but yeah, I mean, the most important about Bellingham is, yes, Real Madrid did everything they have to do in order for them to sign the player, and now it's the player. Everything relies on him right now, and what he has to do is, number one, not to renew his contract with Borussia Dortmund, number one, and reject all the Premier League teams' offers, to say no to all of them, and then come and play for Real Madrid. But we will have to wait a little bit. What is the price Real Madrid might have to pay for the player? People are saying at some point anywhere between 80 to 100 million would be okay, because the player is a very good player. He's a midfield that can run all over the field, right? I mean, it's not just in a specific position. The player actually can run everywhere, and yeah, it's great. And he's young, and he's powerful, and he has a lot of strength and vision, right? So he has a lot of good things that can deliver for Real Madrid. So to me, that'd be one of the greatest signings of Real Madrid of the last 2 years, right? Along with Tchouaméni or something like that. So yeah, I mean, great news as far as Jude Bellingham as well. So great, that's awesome, man. So that's all what I have for you all guys today. Now let me know your comments and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and see you in the next one.